And there we go, we're all paid up. 199 singular diamonds, or 22 diamond blocks, plus 1. I really hope we can turn a profit from this. Greetings, citizens of the internet, and welcome to another VAMCraft Adventures, where today, the predicted weather for today is... sunny! Oh, would you look at that, it's clearing up right now. Well, we are over here at this very large plot of land that you just saw me spend a fortune on. And when I say large, I do mean large. As you can see, it is quite expansive. It will just pop up here, and I'll show you precisely how large. As you can see, there's a reason why we spent half of our fortune on this plot of land. It is enormous. But in order to actually use it, we're going to have to start by clearing this area out. So, break out your shovels. One somewhere here. Nope. Break out your shovels, because we are going to begin with a time lapse. And I know that the last episode was all time lapses, so I'm sorry if you don't enjoy that too much. Don't worry, this will be the only one for this episode. Okay, let's get to it. as you can see, all that area has been mined out. So now it's about time that we hop on over to this end and we start actually building. And this is going to take me a little bit to sort out, not only because I have so much stuff to sort through to make sure I've got everything to get started, but also because I'm going to have to refer to my pre-build of this, the plans that I've made for it. So I'm going to start building, and I'll see you when I've done a little bit. Do you ever have it when you're planning a big project and you think about it in your head and you're like, okay, this is going to be massive. I'm going to need tons of resources. So you prepare for it and you're like, okay, I think I've got everything I need. I got an actual pile, a metric pile of polished andesite. I've got a metric pile of stone bricks. That's about all I'm going to need. I should be good. And you look at it and you're like, great, that should work just fine. And then you step away for a second, like you do like this, and you're like, my goodness. I have like no resources. I just had that. So I've got a shulker box just full to the brim with stone bricks. Actually, all of my polished andesite is in my inventory, I believe, so that is a little bit worrisome because I might need more. Thankfully, we need much less polished andesite than we do stone bricks, so maybe we'll have enough? Maybe? I don't know. I hope so. We'll see. Alright, so let me explain what's going on here. So on the outside, or rather the middle from where it will be the outside, we have this andesite trim going all the way around. And that's going to encompass our market square. So what we're going to have is on this side of the trim, we're going to have a great big building in a square formation, and it's going to be built in the Tudor style, Tudor architecture, very popular. Let's see if I can remember the time period. Think when Queen Elizabeth I was around. It was very popular during Shakespeare's time as well. In fact, his Globe Theatre would have built in a Tudor or Jacobean style. They're very similar, to the point of almost being interchangeable. And I'm sure that anyone who knows a lot about architecture will disagree with me on that. But for the sake of simplicity, we're going to lump together Jacobean and Tudor architecture. As well as lumping that together, we're going to lump this inner space together. Did you see that? That was a segue. That was actually pretty smooth. And I have ruined its smoothness by pointing out how smooth that segue was. In any case, we're going to lump all of this area together, this middle center, as a square, and we'll fill it up with stone bricks. And we'll probably have either a statue or a fountain, maybe just a raised platform in the middle of it. And I'm not entirely sure what's going to go on in there. But as I look at this, I'm realizing just now how much smaller that area is than I anticipated. I thought that the outside would be small and the inside here would be much larger than it actually is. But that size is probably actually better because it's a little bit more manageable. I think that's all I've got to say for now, so yeah, I'll see you in a little bit once I've made a little bit more progress on this. And I haven't decided yet, but there might be a time lapse. Somewhere in here, at least, there will be, probably. You can look forward to that. Right, well, it's about time that we did another progress update, and I thought that this thing looked really cool from above, so I thought that, hey, you know what would be great? Seeing it from straight up above. Then I thought, well, the easiest way to do that would be to pillar up using like a pile of dirt. Then I had an even better idea. You know what? I'm going to need more dark oak for this project. What I should do, I should grow a bunch of trees on top of each other, and then look down at it. Well, it's sort of worked, but as you can see, it's really hard to actually get the sort of top-down image I was looking for when I started building this pillar of trees. I think what I'll do is I'll cut down some of these leaves for you and see what we've got left. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Well, there we are. Isn't this view incredible? You can see pretty much everything. And gosh, does it look good? And even though there's hardly anything, just having the roads and some open fields and buildings over here and there, still looks really good. I'm so excited to see this city. I'm so excited to see this city once it's finished. I think that the finished messed with my head there. But that's not what we're up here to look at. As you can see, this plaza, this square, is looking rather lovely. And what you may have noticed is that over here you have these little indentations, but on this side you do not. Well, I hate to break it to you, but this build is not going to be perfectly symmetrical on all sides. It only has two axes of symmetry. One down this middle from, let's see, that's south to north, and one down the middle here, that would be from east to west. So the north and south halves are going to be exactly the same, and then the east and west halves are going to be exactly the same, but north and east are going to be different from each other. And that's because we're planning, not in this episode, but in a later episode, to put a subway station over in that area beneath this whole thing. So that requires that we have a little staircase that goes down, and that's why those indentations are there. As I say, we're not going to get to that at all today. That's a project for its own day. But yeah, as you can see, we've made some pretty good headway on this so far. So I'm going to cut down this very tall, very rickety scaffold. And, oh, that's not an axe. Thank you, mouse wheel. And we shall get right on to building this a little bit more.
Well, here we are. This is it. This is the first ground layer of our market square here. And as you can see, I've done some geometric patterning on the inside here, and that looks pretty neat. And this trim on the outside here, unfortunately, most of that is going to pretty much disappear because we're going to put the walls and columns over top of that. That's for another episode, though, so you can look forward to seeing that. And in here, these sort of gaps, those are going to be for staircases that go down to the lower levels. So, yeah, should be pretty good. So, this unfortunately brings us to the end of this episode of VAMCraft Adventures. So, up in the top right corner, there's going to be a little bit of a poll. So, you should go click on that. next month is July, which is important because it's the 150th birthday of Canada, so to speak. So we're going to be doing some special things in that episode. Let me know what you'd like to see down below in comments, and the poll is going to be about what you'd like to see in the next episode. So be sure to check out that. And as always, I have been Neptune's Orca 2. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Just the like button is there for your enjoyment. It has no bearing on YouTube's algorithm. So if you liked it, give it a little fist bump. If you dislike it, give the dislike bump a little fist bump. If you want to see more of my stuff, just slap that little red subscribe button. And for anything else, check out my website. It's been great.